Hello, thank you very much for tuning into this week's section of reads. This should be on the YouTube channel James13 Micah in case you're seeing it somewhere else. The dice and decks I'm using will be listed below. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's also below, same email. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the one you chose. Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aquarius? This is interesting already. Oh, so that's it for that. What are we dealing with? Okay, so the energy is sliding. It almost feels like an avalanche. This energy, it seems like it's been around. Okay, this is interesting. It's been around. It's limited itself. Don't get caught up in the gender. King of Pentacles. The energy is like it's limited itself. This energy is much more intellectual than it really allows itself to be. Now, before we go too deep into this can be any category: work, romance, friendship, whatever you got going on there, right? I do think this energy has been around you for a while. It could have been around you for quite a while, actually. I almost feel like for some of you, this is somebody who lives a little bit down the street or a few doors down or something that maybe you talk to every once in a great while. I'm trying to understand more about the limiting thing. So it's almost like the way that Aquarius relates to people, in my opinion, of course, if people can advance a conversation and develop a thought, they don't have to have, books of knowledge behind them. What they need is to be able to take the information they have and develop it forward in some type of interesting way. And the capacity to kind of learn as they go. This energy, I don't think feels like it matches you, because you might have a high level of knowledge. Like, if I'm putting it the right way, like if I look at you and I look at like the information in your brain, you have like a few stacks, like a few columns of books, like a few, like you have a couple shelves of books behind you of all the knowledge that's in your brain that you can access today. And they feel like they have like a backpack full. They feel like they have a backpack full compared to your shelves of books. Okay? Which may be technically correct, but the thing is they don't understand. It's what they can do with what they know, and the fact that they can actually keep advancing. Yes, Aquarius likes intelligent people, but it's the actual ability to move information around. They don't have to know everything about anything. It's the ability to actually grow, and the more they learn, the more they can do with it. It's kind of like saying, there's some flour, there's some water, there's some butter. And they're like, okay. Some people would just be like, well, that's what's there. Other people can be like, well, if you mix it this way, you can make maybe a pie crust. A tasteless one because you wouldn't have sugar. But still, you could. Other people would be like, yeah, well, you can try to make food out of it, but you can also make putty or a paste. Or you could make like, Play-Doh, or, It's realizing, maybe if you freeze this part and you do this with this part, you could do this with it. Like, it's people who can take those three basic elements and see all the different ways to do things with and do this or do that. Or, they're not limited to it. So when it comes to knowledge, maybe you have a lot more knowledge, a lot of different subjects. It's not about that. This energy matches you better than it realizes. And you might not realize it either, because it's kind of like they may seem fairly simple compared to the way your tastes go. But this has room for advancement. A lot could happen here. This energy's been limiting itself. It maybe believes that it's not allowed into certain things, or they don't fit in certain things. But this could be one of those things where somebody, for example, if they allow themselves to look into sculpture, for example, maybe they don't know a thing about it today. You give them a year, if they allow themselves to explore it, they can take that so many places and learn so much about it. That's what Aquarius needs. Somebody who has the ability to expand and that can actually develop thoughts. In my opinion, of course. So, for this reason, though, the reason I'm over-explaining that clearly, the energy moves very well between you and this energy, whatever this may be, romance, business, whatever it could be. But there's this lack of connection. It's kind of very good connection that we just keep walking away from. Very good connection that we just keep walking away from. There's another reason I keep saying romance work or whatever, because a lot of people equate this to romance. It doesn't have to be. It does not have to be. We keep walking around it. We just, in both sides might be feeling we get along, but I don't think this would actually hold the test of time. There's a boundary here that doesn't need to be here. It doesn't need to be here. This energy, as a person, you very much like them. You just don't think they match you. I really do think they do. It needs some time to develop so you can see the potential, but initially it's going to look like it doesn't match. You really like them. All right, why did I have to pick that back up? Where'd my last one go? Unless I'm going to still use that. Yeah, okay, so it didn't change, so that's why I didn't pick it up. Breaking, the situation's been stuck. We got to get out of the trap. 8 of Swords came in like this. Oh, it is here. There we go. 8 of Swords came in like this. We got to break some boundaries here that aren't really serving anybody. So we don't got to do anything. Okay. The possibility to break boundaries would do wonders. Okay, there we go. Moving on. There's a moment coming forward where I feel like this person is going to stand up for you. Really? Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's not planned. It's not planned. I got the 2 of Pentacles reversed. There's no plan behind this. Nothing. But I also got the Magician straight up. And the Emperor. They're going to stand up for you in some respect. And I feel like the way they do it, I'm kind of surprised. And I don't really know how far they can go with that. But I do feel the loyalty there. The trick is to realize that you're seeing it in a way that oh, that could be really good, but it's just not going to be enough. That's going to hold this back. You could miss out on something great. I don't really feel like it's a giant risk to take a chance on this, by the way. I don't know what to say about that. But if you keep looking at it oh, there's so much good here, but that one really important piece isn't there. You're gonna sink your own ship. Take it with a grain of salt. Readings are for entertainment purposes only. The opportunity here. I'm gonna roll the dice on this because that's quite the card. That's quite the card. Take it out of chance. On the dice, the Wheel of Fortune, I can see it in my brain, but spitting out the words. The Wheel of Fortune is grounded, taking chance out of the equation, and starting to talk with this person with the Page of Page of Swords, Page of Communication, Page of Air. It's starting from square one. And I feel like that's a lot. It's kind of like, I don't think it's really that bad, but I feel like for some reason I'm looking at this like, maybe I should just start from square one and just see what happens. The fact that this is like, I feel like I'm literally dulling it down to start it out, but I need to discover if this person has the potential. This energy, I keep getting they're limiting themselves. This is another reason I think I'm seeing the Ten of Swords here. Because they're limiting themselves. They're not letting that part of themselves come forward. They may have, at a younger age, been scrutinized or treated poorly for showing intelligence, as if they didn't have the right to, or that they weren't intelligent enough, so they should just stop. So there might be some type of emotional damage there when it comes to intelligence, where that's not who they really are, and they have no right to even act like they can be. There could be something like that. People get treated poorly in the weirdest ways. You know what I mean? So starting at square one, it does seem like it's a little bit like, oh, should I really be doing this? If you're willing to do it, though, just keep talking the way you talk. This energy can keep up. Especially if it's kind of like, wait, I've never heard that word before. What does that word mean? Oh, that. Yeah, that makes sense, because when you said this and this, that makes total sense. It's going to be one of those people. You know what I mean? I feel like I used to be more that way. I don't talk to people as much as I used to. But like, I've done that, or I've, like, nowadays with the internet, you can just look up a word and go, oh, that's what that means. That makes sense. Blah, 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 blah. They can totally follow along conversations. Just once in a while, I'm pretty confident you're going to use words that they're like, I don't know what that word means. You may have to explain a word, but they're going to remember once you explain the word. It's not like you have to explain the same word over and over again. It's not that bad. But I do feel like that could be another level of this Ten of Swords. Like, every now and then you're going to have to explain a word you said. And you're going to be like, oh, it's not that bad. Because they'll remember it. There's just not words they hear all the time. Especially, for example, if you're somebody who works in the corporate scene, and this is somebody who works, you know, as a mechanic, there's a lot of words they know that you don't too. Let's just be fair. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we got to get the vocabulary to match. That'll make a huge difference. It was just an example, by the way. Because, like, I'm sorry, especially nowadays, you have to be smart anyway to be a mechanic. Because, like, to get everything to work together successfully, that takes a lot of intelligence. I'm sorry. I just think it's weird that people look at that job as if it's a lesser intelligence. I'm like, are you serious? Do you know what it takes to make a car work? Like, seriously. Or a van or a bicycle or whatever you're doing. Like, not for nothing. I'm just saying. There's a trip over point. There's a trip over point. What do you mean by that? It's weird. It goes from like less to it goes from too little to too much. No, it goes from hardly anything to like an abundance. Yeah, those are positive cards. Okay, how do we get there? There's a trip over point. The Seven of Major Arcana, the Chariot reversed, completely reversed, and the Nine of Wands, which is a boundary. Isn't that down here too? Yeah, that's here too. Do I have I do have the Chariot. Yeah. Okay. The trip over point, I feel like you're going to realize there's something here where this person has been taught that they're less than in some version, that they're not smart, that they have no right to even pretend that they are. They're not pretending, they are smart. They have their own intelligence. Granted, maybe they have a backpack worth of books compared to your shelves of books when it comes to comparing like information per subject or whatever you want to call that. But that book bag can turn into shelves. They have the potential. There's something here because they have to unlock this thing where it's like they've been taught that they're not allowed to be intelligent or that they're not actually intelligent. And they are. They are. It's to me, it's almost infuriating. Because it's kind of like trying to make somebody feel like they're less than they actually are. This isn't right. this tripping point, realizing that they are, for some reason, buying into this schematic, that's probably the wrong word, this thing, whatever this is, that will help you. Once you see it, I felt this like rush of like anger, like how dare somebody treat you that way. You're gonna work overtime to deconstruct that real fast, because I actually feel like you're gonna be offended that this person was treated that way, and you're not gonna stand for it. I feel like you're very upset about it. Take that with a grain of salt. It's got to get there before we see if that actually happens. Once that trips over, then all these things start happening. They're going to be more careful about who they share their intelligence with. You're going to see a big change here, though. Big doors opening. Things going differently. Them treating their life differently. There may be people in their life that have been in their life for a long time that they're going to really kind of bring their level of engagement down a lot because they treat them poorly. And it's like, if somebody treats you poorly, you shouldn't hang out with them, not for nothing. But even if you're related to them, not for nothing. But a lot of change is going to come here. A lot of strength coming in. The Queen of Cups is very strong, in my opinion. But, well, she just is. Anyway. The Sun card comes in next. What is this one? They might need to get back in line with who they're supposed to be anyway. You might help them get more in line with the person they're supposed to be. They're very intelligent, but for some reason there's been blocks. And this person, however they connect to you, brings a lot of value to your life. Somebody who can keep it up with you intellectually, usually Aquarius loves that anyway. But then somebody who's loyal, and that somebody you feel like you can trust, even more important, not for nothing. I feel like there's a great value here. Like, I don't know, there's been some romance cards. This does not have to be a romance thing. It could be a coworker, could be whatever it is. But I'm just saying, this could go great for you, and you're doing something for somebody else that I feel like you'll be very proud of. That's strength. I don't have it anymore. It just kind of spiked at one point. Like, when I realized this person has been abused the way they've been abused, I feel like that really triggers me. So keep that in mind, because you're Aquarius, but I got this, like, it was like a Scorpio whip of the tail, which you're Aquarius, you're not Scorpio, I know, but like, the reason I'm saying that is, like, when they strike and they kill. Sometimes they kill. I'm just saying, be careful. When you have this moment and you get very offended, it could come off very brutally, not to the person you like, but you might set the stage for something else that you'll have to deal with more down the line. I've seen this happen with people, like, if this was a romance thing, doesn't have to be, of course, and you find out somebody in their family has been treating them that way, and you snap their head off, it may not be fixable, and you may have to deal with this person for the rest of your life if you end up marrying this person. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. That's why I'm throwing that in there. Could be, doesn't have to be, you know. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.